Hey y'all, how you doing? We're out in the garage. Last part of the removing the bearing races from the crankshaft. Actually, we've got success. We didn't end up using that fancy tool. We ended up using this right here. It's a bearing puller, gear puller, bearing splitter, whatever you want to call it. Thanks to Phil at CPI, Phil Davis. Clued us in on how to remove these things. He said just go to Harbor Freight and buy the bearing splitter deal. You put it on there and you get her snugged up and just take the I've got a little pencil torch, a little butane pencil torch. He said just put a little bit of heat on it. Ain't gonna take much at all and it'll come right off. And I'll be darned if I should have just asked the experts right from the beginning instead of watching videos on YouTube, huh? But live and learn. There it is, a 15-piece set, cost $39.99. Out the door, it's got these inside bits for doing blind bearings, but those are for big bearings. When you put both those pieces together, you're looking at a bearing shaft that's an inch or bigger. So they're really no good for us, but works great for doing this here. Let me run you through exactly what went on. Let me get this one. Here you see the bearing puller or splitter has got a knife edge on one side, and so it's good and flush and flat here, and then on the inside it's beveled right down to a nice knife edge, and it fits literally right underneath that the little shim that comes with the new bearing. So here's the race. And then this is the shim. It's a little bit bigger in diameter, as you can see from the one that's on there. And it's just enough to be able to get something underneath this little edge right here. That little tool, that $40 tool, is perfect for doing that. So let me see if I can get her set up real quick and drop her on there for y'all. Yeah, find a place to put you. You just watch me do it, I guess. That'd be ideal. You know where to put you where you're not going to fall down. Let me try to re-aim you a little bit. Put you right up here on the old grinder. Yes, hope you don't fall off of there. I hope you can see that far. What's happening here? Let me see if I can get some pressure off that cable. This is the better camera. I wanted to bring you a little better video, you know. But gotta get this loosen this other one up here. Top sides of these up just a little bit. So they'll move, and this thing can spread. Back off that push bolt. It's nice because the push bolt here comes with a removable tip, so you can either use the pointed tip for the points in the end of the crank. It's also got a flat tip, so you can push, you know, say on a case or something, if, depending on what other kind of pieces you're using. But it just fits right underneath there, and you can see, you know, it grips right on it. So we'll go ahead and get these tightened up, snugged up a little bit here. Obviously, you want to tighten those evenly as much as you possibly can. Somebody just sent me a text message. It's raining down in Daytona right now. First day of racing. It's about 2:30 here. Going to be same time down there. But they're not getting a heck of a lot done. They got really no practice at all on practice day. It was completely rained out. let's see if we can get this thing back in here. So yeah, I've been on the phone with John West down there in the garage, and trying to just help him stay positive. You know, I mean, he understands. You know, if you get the race, you get the race. If you don't, you don't. He's leaving the speedway and going on a cruise for a bunch of days. So, you know, I'm saying the cost of $1 is the same for every man. Some of us, you know, not as well off as others, and it hurts a little more. It's a little more personal when you can't get on the track. So not real super tight here. You can see, I mean, it looks like I'm cranking, but I'm not. It's just really good and snug. Then you want to go ahead and snug these up after you get your push bolts centered. So we just get that started, not too tight. Right, snug these down. Not too tight here either. Okay, and we'll put a little bit of pressure on this push bolt. Just a little bit. And we'll go ahead and fire up the old butane torch here. Come on, buddy. It's hard to do with these gloves on. There we go. And really all we did is get it to sweat a little bit, you know. It really wasn't very much heat at all. So it keeps this going out. Doesn't take much to knock these things out either, you know. Come on. This video is going to take longer than we need it to. Off with the gloves. Just only takes a second. Just right on the race. Should get a little, and that's it. That's all it's going to take. Give this thing a little crank, a little bit at a time, and she'll. Yep, see, she's moving already. Yep, moving right on off. Best $40 I ever spent. And Phil told me, "Hey, Robert, you need to have these tools of your own." And I said, "Listen, I'll just send the crank to you. You take them off and install my my new parts, and then install the new ones and send it back." And, I just done telling them how I'm not a rich fella. I'm just a dude in the garage, and kind of what I was just hitting on, and it hit me. Maybe he's got a point. I mean, he was, he hooked me up with how to get this thing off to begin with, so I looked it up on the internet and found, they had 2 or 3 different sets of these things, these bearing removers, splitters, gear pullers, and what have you. And I sent him an email with a link. I said, "Is this the one?" He said, "That's it." So I went and bought it, and just like boom, boom. We spent weeks sitting around, waiting around, messing around with this heat transfer. I spent about $30 on that, $15 or so, $12 for a can of map gas, and $15 I think for the chunk of metal, and then having to work on it and stuff like I did. So live and learn, right? Thanks again, Phil. That was effortless. That didn't take nothing at all, and they're not even hot. There was just enough, temperature just so it was different than the crank itself. And it's cold out here. It's it's about 46 degrees on the wall over there. I've had a little propane heat running, and just taking a chill off the air. You see, it's still a bit cold, but we got it done. So there it is. Part 6 of 6 is what it took to get it done. So there you go. Get yourself a Harbor Freight gear puller. This is, it doesn't have a specific size, I don't think. It says it's for pulling on gear pullers for 9/30 seconds to 3-inch diameter gears. So anything, you know, any kind of, that's pretty much any kind of crankshaft you're going to use. You obviously didn't want the inside hole too small, and this one isn't too big either, but it works good. And it was worth every penny. I mean, if I never use it again, it made life easier, right? So there you go. We got the stuff off. We'll go ahead and get this thing cleaned up. And now initially we're gonna send this to John West and have him do the crank. And you know, we're gonna do that. Phil, I hope your feelings aren't hurting. I'm sure you're not. I know you're busy with your regular job. But John's gonna. I've never had John do a crank for me, and he says, you know, we're buddies. How come you don't send stuff to me? So we try to support our buddies, right? And support the guys that come to the track with us and hang with us and all that stuff. And we hope to develop that same type of relationship with Phil. We're trying to work. He's the Modena importer for the Modena engines. He's in Pennsylvania, and we're hoping to show him that we're not completely useless, and we're going to build a car just for one of his motors. We're going to lease an engine from him, God willing, knock wood, and take that bad boy to Daytona with him tuning on it and his knowledge of that particular motor. And hopefully we get a tune on that thing, or where we can not just get around the racetrack in personal lap record, time, but we want to go down and contend. That's the whole idea of going to Daytona to begin with. That's not a place you want to go down and just turn laps. It's a big deal. It costs a lot of money. That's a long drive, man. The mile after mile after mile. For us here, from the driveway here to the beach is just under 1,200 miles. So that's a truck. That's a drive. That's a 14 straight hours if you're going to go, and we never do. We stop just south of Atlanta, and or just north of Atlanta, depending on what time we took off in the morning from Detroit here. But we'll drive about 8-10 hours and stop, 8 hours or so, and then stop and get a room and finish up the second day. Usually you get down there if you leave Christmas Day and drive all day, and you get down there on the 26th, you've got a day to burn anyway before you get to drop the trailer off and what have you. So plenty of time to get your feet underneath you again after all that traveling and go from there. But we got the crank ready to go to John. We'll put it in a box with some new stuffers and the whole new rod kit, bearing washers and all that stuff, and we'll get it off to John. And we'll get the RV XX engine together. Not sure what we're going to do with that just yet. We'll have to bring you another video. I'm not sure if we're going to put that right on the TSR, the cart we're running now. I think we're just going to leave the cart the way it is for now, for April, for the test. Just leave it the way it is for now, and get this radiator deal proved out, and make sure we're doing the right thing, going in the right direction with the air box and the size of the radiator, and where we're getting the air from, and what have you, and we'll go from there. Maybe we put this motor on the new car just to get the car shook down. We really don't like doing stuff like that, because you got to cut a side panel to fit the engine and the pipe, and then we'd have to make another side panel to fit the Modena engine. So maybe we run it without any side panels, whatever, I don't know, but that's always an option. But from out in the garage, a couple of days before New Year's Eve, it's the 29th today. God bless y'all. Hang in there. We're praying for you, and I know you're praying for me. I'm feeling stronger. The back feels good. You get a little muscle ache here and there. Sometimes when I lay in the bed too long, even though we got a new bed for Christmas, you feel it in your bones, especially because you got metal in there now. But that's it. We're doing all right, and I appreciate everything, all the prayers y'all have been sending my way, because I'm feeling it. It's really working. So that's it from RPM. we're going to shut her down and probably go in the house and get us some lunch. Have a good one. I'll talk to you later. We got that crank cleaned up.